Hey gang, DVD collector back, also known as James, and you are on the Movie Reviewers 100, and it's Tuesday, so that means you get to listen to me. And this week is John Hughes week, one of my favorite comedy writers and directors of all time. Hands down, there's no comparison. This guy made the 80s what it was for comedy, and without good writing, you don't have good comedy. But, that being said, you also have to have good comics. And the movie I've chosen to talk about today is Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, Steve Martin and John Candy. The movie is about a businessman. Steve Martin plays a businessman, and he's on his way home for Thanksgiving. And of course, through a bunch of different mishaps, he ends up in the company of John Candy, who is an overbearing salesman. And this is their journey to get home for Thanksgiving with tons and tons of terrible things happening to him. Very, very funny stuff. We all have seen Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, and if you haven't, you have really missed out. This is one of the funniest movies of the 80s. 1987. This is late 80s. Steve Martin, of course, one of the best slapstick physical comedians out there. He pretty much plays the straight in this one. And John Candy, of course, is the comedic value. John Candy is one of those guys that through the 80s and part of the early 90s until he died in, I believe, 1994, brought so much to the screen. He was known for getting mediocre scripts and turning them into works of art. There's no doubt that he is one of the most funny and missed comedians of our time. You can take movies like Summer Rental, Great Outdoors, Planes, Trains, Automobiles, put another comic in their place, and would you have watched them as many times, even though they're written by John Hughes? Throw Jim Carrey in there, are they as funny? No, absolutely not. Throw Adam Sandler in there, they're not as funny. These movies are made funny because John Candy. We've already talked about Uncle Buck this week, which is classic John Candy. You put somebody else in the role of that movie where he is the main character, and it's not a rewatchable movie. It might be funny the first time, and they might have made it more vulgar, but when you put John Candy in those roles, you have a great movie. You know, even his small roles in films like Home Alone and things like that, where he still makes, a great impression. Even voices, like he was a voice in The Rescuers, I believe, which even when you recognize his voice, you're like, oh my God, John Candy's in this. Spaceballs, just so many great films for John Candy. And Steve Martin's the same way. The movies that he's in and starred in would not have been the great movies they were without the casting of these great comics. But this is John Hughes week, so let's talk about the writing. John Hughes, of course, wrote, directed, and produced Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, as well as many other great comedies of the 80s, and these will always be the funniest movies. Now, I love other comic duos like Richard Pryor and Gene Wilder and stuff like that, Mel Brooks, stuff like that, but these are what good comedies are. They don't have to be filthy, nasty, 2-hour dick jokes like they have nowadays with The Hangover, stuff like that. It's all in the writing, and I've preached this 100 times on my own channel. Comedy is dead because John Hughes is dead. That's 100% true. These guys, hopefully there'll be someday somebody will step up and take the ranks of great comedic writer, and we'll have these films again. But until then, all you're going to get is vulgarness. I mean, it's a one-time watch funny, and it's only funny because it's so damn shocking. So again, thanks guys for watching. It's Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. If you've never seen this, it is hilarious. There are so many funny moments in this movie as well as all of John Hughes' movies. So check him out. Have a John Hughes week. Let me know what your favorite John Hughes films are, and especially let me know what you think of Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. So in case you are our first-time viewer, please hit the subscribe button and check out what we're doing over here on the Movie Reviewers 100. And as always, I'm so glad to be a part of this, and thank every single one of you guys for allowing me to grace your channel. And I will talk to you guys later.